Hello everyone. I hope you all are doing well. Let me clear one thing that so many questions are coming from your side that what to do about the text. Okay. After watching the video, when you go through the text line by line, when I was explaining, you have to write down the glossary which are or vocabulary which are unknown to you. Okay, and if possible, then write down the short summary in your thinking, in your understanding, and then after write down the question answers so that you can understand it properly. Now, how will you write the question answer? So, do one thing, read the question, read the answer, probably what is the right answer of the question. Then after understand it and then make a note in your notebook. Do also some grammar portion related to the text after your question answer, short questions and long questions. Okay, I hope you understand it. So please, I will also arrange one Zoom meeting in my next week, probably on Sunday. So we'll discuss your queries and your problems in that meeting. So please be ready with that. Okay. Today I am going to discuss about Lost Spring, your next chapter, or you can say the story, right? When you read the text, first look at the title of the story, that is the Lost Spring. Lost means when you lost something that which is yours and you lost and you didn't find, that is that does mean lost. And spring means that is a season of blossom flowers, right? In this season you can see that the flowers are blossoming. You can see the very cool and calm environment and weather in this season. So now the writer is talking about the lost spring. Okay, now here there is also one subtitle, and the subtitle is Stories of Stolen Childhood, right? Now stories means there will be not one story, there will be two more stories in this chapter of stolen. Stolen means which is not which you didn't find, that is stolen, and which is stolen by somebody else. Childhood means that your child years, right? Child के जो time का आपका जो period है उसको childhood बोलते हैं. Now here you can see that what is the story about. The story, the author's name is Anis Jung, and she was telling us the stories of her interaction with children from deprived background, right? वो deprived background के बारे में बात कर रही है, ठीक है? Here you can see that deprived background. Deprived means कि those who didn't get the basic fundamentals of life in their life. Okay, so उसका मतलब they are deprived of the fundamentals of life, that is the roti, kapda और makan, right? She describes their poor condition and life in an interesting manner. The story touches the reader and is thought-provoking. Now, after reading the story, it touches the reader. आपको थोड़ा वो सैंटी कर देती है the story. The author described two of her encounter with children from deprived background. Through them, she wants to highlight the plight of street children and forced into labor early in life and are denied the opportunity of schooling. Now, this is the story of her encounter with the deprived students or deprived children these are the rag pickers, particularly street children, and how they were forced to have a labored life instead of having the opportunity to go for schooling, opportunity of schooling. She also brings out the callousness of society and the political class towards the suffering of the poor. The first encounter is a rag picker. I told you rag picker tha by name Sahibi Alam. This is the story. The first story is about the Sahibi Alam, who is a rag picker and who migrated from Bangladesh in 1971 and lives in Simapuri. That Simapuri is situated near the Delhi border, right? These rag picker children look for valuables in the garbage. Now, here you can see that how can it possible that you find valuable things in the garbage? Things like a coin. Now, which type of valuable things? Things like a coin or torn shoes, which are as precious as gold for them. Now, valuable things means that which are torn out, which are unused by the people, which is thrown into the garbage. That things are valuable for them. So this story is about the rag picker children. Okay. Now look at the author. First of all, let's talk about the author. The name of the author is Anish Jung, and she is an Indian woman author, journalist, and columnist. Right, columnist. She belongs to an aristocratic family of poets. Her most noted work of Unveiling India, that is the name of her work, which was published in 1987 and was detailed chronicle of the lives of women in India. It is based on the life of women, that how hard the life of women in the India. Okay. She was born in 1964 in Rourkela and spent her childhood and adolescence in Hyderabad. She received her education in Hyderabad and in the United States of America. Now, I told you earlier that she is from aristocratic family. Aristocratic family say, and that's why she went to United States of America for further study. Her parents were both writers. Anish Jung began her career as a writer in India. So she is an Indian author. She has been an editor and columnist for major newspaper in India. Columnist means कोई column और कोई editing magazine में columns लिखते हैं, उसको आप बोल सकते हो. In India, not only in India but also in abroad, has authored several books. Right? She has written so many books in her life. The following is an excerpt from her book titled Lost Spring, Stories of Stolen Childhood, right? This is the taken from this book, Stories of Stolen Childhood. इसमें से लिखा है उसने. Here she analyzes the grinding poverty and tradition which condemn these children to a life of exploitation, right? So this is the one type of exploitation of children, that the society that forcing them for picking the rag instead of the opportunity of schooling. Now this is the life of the rag picker, the story of rag picker. Okay. Now the first story is, sometimes I find a rupee in garbage. Right. So this is the name of the first story. This is the name of the first story. It starts like this. Why do you do this? I asked the Sahib, right? Now I told you that this story is about the Sahib Alam. His full name is Sahib Alam. Now, why do you, that the Anish Jung was asking questions when he encounters means the face-to-face conversation, when she has a face-to-face conversation with Sahib, that time she was asking the first question, why do you do this? I asked, I means here the author, the writer, that is Anis Jan. I asked Sahib, whom I encounter every morning, scrounging for gold in the garbage dumps of my neighborhood, right? So now there is one dumps of garbage near her neighborhood, and scrounging means searching for, right? Scrounging means searching for gold. Now here gold, it doesn't mean the literal gold they were searching for, because this is a common sense that will not find gold in garbage, right? So gold is means the valuable things for him. Now I told you in my first starting story that gold means the valuable things. Now which are the valuable things? That things which we are throwing on, that is torn out, and we are not using it and we don't liking it. So that things, valuable things, they are scrounging. I told you that is the searching for the gold in the garbage. Sahib left his home long ago. Now she was talking about the story of Sahib. Now who is Sahib and what is his story? Sahib left his home long ago. बहुत साल पहले he left his home, set amidst the green field of Dhaka. Now you know that Dhaka is the capital city of Bangladesh, and it is near our east में आता है. That is Dhaka. Set amidst the amidst, in the middle. Amidst का मतलब क्या है? In the middle of fields of Dhaka, right? His home is not even a distant memory. Now, where he was belonged to Dhaka, which was sat amidst in the middle of green fields, but he is not even a distant memory. His home is not a distant memory. What does it distant? You know that distance means distance, right? It does not remember anything, right? Why? Because at very left long ago, बहुत साल पहले आ गए थे, so he was not remembering that what he's about his own home, that native land, right? That is Dhaka. There were many storms that swept away their fields and homes. His mother tells him, right? His mother means Sahib's mother told him that there were so many storms and floods, and they took away their fields and homes. So there will be no any memories of his childhood that time. That's why they left. So this is the reason. So this can be asked that why the Sahib left their homeland Dhaka. So this is the reason, because of the storms that swept away their fields and homes. That's why they left. And the second reason is looking for gold in big city. Now looking for gold means valuable things plus opportunity in the big city where he now live. Now in the big city means they are talking about Delhi, where he now lives, right? So here the writer is talking again, says that looking for gold in the big city, gold doesn't refer to something precious which was not available in their hometown, right? Gold means valuable things which they didn't find in Dhaka, but they find it in the cities, and that is the precious things in their in the city right now they were living. I have nothing else to do, right? He mutters. Mutters means when you speak in a very low voice, it means mutter. That's when I ask that why do you do this, right? So I have nothing else to do. He mutters, right? So उसने धीरे से बोला कि I don't have anything else to do except this. Looking away. Go to school. I said, okay, glibly. Glibly means spoken in a confident way but without carrying thought or honesty, right? Now, Let me give an example of this. Sometimes we are speaking sentences or any words uh, without thinking, and what will be the answer and what will be the impact of your sentence on others. So the same happens with writer also. When I said that if you don't have anything else, then go to school, I say glibly. Glibly means on the spot without thinking that what will be the impact of that word on the other side, right? So without carefulness nahi rakha, or she spoke like this, realizing immediately how hello the active must advise must sound. Hello means meaningless. Now after that she realized that what I suggested and what I advised was really hollow. Hollow means meaningless to this red picker, right? Afterwards she realized there is no school in my neighbor. Now you look at the answer of the Sahib. There is no school in my neighborhood. When they build one, I will go. Okay. In my neighborhood, I didn't find any school. If there will be, then I'll definitely go there. If I start a school, will you come? I ask half joking. Half joking means that some serious and some serious note and some funny note, right? Yes, he said, smiling broadly. Now, indirectly, the writer gave one hope to the Sahib, but that was unwillingly, that unnoticed, that carefulness nahi tha, that the writer was thinking that she was doing just for the sake and for half joking ke liye keh rahi thi, but the Sahib was very serious, and he said yes with smiling broadly, means there is a hope in his smile. A few days later, I see him running up to me. Is your school ready? Now see the impact of that little sentence, and which gave so many gave so many impact on that child, that after a few days, he ran to me and asked, is your school ready? It takes longer to build a school, I say. Now, here you can see that the writer realized that what did I do? Now, when the Sahib was asking about the school, embarrassed. Embarrassed means feeling ashamed, because I promised him that I will build a school, right? And he said that definitely I'll come. And after few days, when he was asking that I don't have any answer, and that is why she was feeling ashamed and having a promise that was not meant, right? She was not meaning, she was not meant to build a school, but it's just for the sake of saying that, for the conversation she was telling the that the thing that if I start, will you come? That question she asked. But promises like mine abound in every corner of his bleak world. Now you know that promises, that if you are talking about the life of rag picker, so what does mean of that promises in that life? There exists in large number. बहुत सारी promises exist in their life in every corner of his bleak world. Bleak world means their world is empty. There is nothing in his world, right? In his life, right? There is just hope that he found in his conversation with the Anis Jan. Okay. Now, here you can say that from these lines, she would like to say that she had said this as a joke and had never intended to open a school. She felt, okay, I told you that she was just joking and never intended. It was not intensely she was doing this, but it was done by unwillingly. She felt ashamed of herself. Sahib was not hurt because he was used to such false promises, right? His own life is full of promises, false promises, and his world is empty, right? He was surrounded by such false promises made by everyone around him. His world was empty as no promise made to Sahib was ever fulfilled. Now he was very used to of false promises, that there are so many things that happen in his life that now it doesn't hurt him. Okay. After months of knowing him, after months of knowing him, I asked him his name. Now they come to know each other. So after months, she asked his name, and he replied, Sahibe Alam. It is his full name. He announces. Announces means that he was telling his name with a proud or with good voice. He does not know what it means, right? Now, obviously, he doesn't know that what is the meaning of his name. If he knew its meaning, Lord of the universe. Now, this is very important. It can be asked in the exam that what is the meaning of the name of Sahib Alam, that is the Lord of the universe. Now, from the meaning, you understand that he would have a hard time believing it, right? Now, there is a contrast in the life of Sahib, and there is a contrast in the name, between name and his life. That his life is empty, full of struggles, right? And Lord of Universe. Lord of Universe means that you have everything. You are the God of the whole world, the whole earth, right? So if he knows the meaning of that, he is unable to believe that this is the meaning of his name, right? His name was opposite to his life. Okay, there is a vast difference between his name and the meaning of his name. Unaware of what his name represents, he roams the streets with his friends. Right? He was roaming here and there with his friends to collect the essentials and valuable things as a rat picker. An army of barefoot boys who appears like the morning birds and disappear at noon. Okay, so they were looking like an army. Now there are, you know that if you have seen that the rat pickers, the children, the rat pickers are in a group, and here she is saying that they are like an army, and you know that how they behave if you have observed them lively. I have observed, so I can understand right now what the writer is telling us. When you just observe, when you see any rat picker group around you, so they are all in barefoots, right? Barefoots means without wearing anything in the foot, right? Who appear like in the morning birds and disappear at noon. So they came in the morning, very morning, they appear like a birds. Morning mein birds aate hain, then disappear in the noon. The same like a bird, they also disappear in the noon. Over the month, I have come to recognize each of them. Okay. After 1 month, I come to know that each of the each one of that army group. Why aren't you wearing chappal? I asked one. Okay, I asked one another boy from that rake picker group, and my mother, and the answer of that boy was very unique. Right? My mother did not bring them down from the shelf. Now you just look at the answer of that boy. Then how can it possible that her mother did not bring them down from the shelf? Is there any shelf in their home? No. But he answers simply, right? That he is avoiding the conversation like that. Even if she did, he will throw them off. Adds another, okay, and another boy tha, that he was wearing shoes that do not match. एक लड़का था, उसने जो पहना था shoes, that is the different color shoes. They are different, don't match with each other. He replied again that even if she did, he will throw them off. Now you look at the conversation of the group of the boys, that there is a bonding between the children also, right? they are also supporting each other. Here we can see that they are supporting each other. When I comment on it, he shuffles his feet, says nothing, right? I want shoes. Okay, yahan tak. When I comment on that, he shuffles. Shuffles means slide them over each other. Means slide them over each other so that, like this, so that you cannot see the first and the second. Okay, so he was hiding his feet and says nothing. Then he stopped. I want shoes, says a third boy who has never owned a pair all his life. Now the third boy said that I want also one shoes because I didn't have and I don't own in my life. Traveling across the country. Now here the conversation is with the children. Now the writer is talking about other things. Traveling across the country, I have seen children walking barefoot, right? While traveling, I have seen that many children were walking barefoot and without chappal in cities on village road, in cities and also in village roads. It is not lack of money, right? So right now, it doesn't mean that because of the lack of money they are not wearing, right? But tradition to stay barefoot is one explanation. Now, what is their explanation? This is our style, or you can say this is our tradition to have a barefoot in our group, right? So that's why they remain barefoot in their group, and that was their explanation. While traveling, I heard this answer also. I wonder if this is only one excuse to explain away a perpetual state of poverty. Okay. Now that one, I wanted to know the answer of this boy, and this is the one excuse. Excuse to reason, a reason to justify a fault, right? So that they gave the excuse. हम excuse दे रहे हैं why we are barefoot, because this is our tradition, right? That's why, to explain away a perpetual state of poverty. Perpetual means never ending condition of being poor, right? So now अगर कोई poor है वो poor ही होता चला जाता है. So this is the perpetual state of poverty. It means never ending condition of being poor. It will never end. They will remain poor in whole life. Even their forefathers were poor and they are also poor. So this is never ending condition of life. So that makes them the tradition. So this is the tradition of our poor group, that we don't have, we stay barefoot, and this is this tradition, right? So now look at here what the writer wants to tell us, that he takes the example of shoes to highlight the condition of these boys, right? So now how is the life and how is the condition of this rag picker in our India, that she is trying to tell us. Even the writer concluded the reason I told you, that it being a tradition was a mere excuse to hide the fact that they were so poor that they could not afford footwear, right? So now they are giving the excuses. They are not telling us that we are poor, that's why we are unable to buy shoes, but this is our tradition, that's why we are not wearing, or we are barefoot. I remember a story, a man from Udupi. Okay, now look at here. Now then after, the writer narrates a story told to her by a man from Udupi, right? Now यहाँ तक जो साहिब की स्टोरी थी वहां पर वो ड्रॉप लेती है. Now she adds one another story of a man from Udupi. Udupi is a town in Karnataka, right? So now he remembers the story of Udupi. As a young boy, now this is the story of a man from Udupi. Remember, he would go to school past an old temple where his father was a priest. Now this boy was going to school and his father was a priest. He would stop briefly at the temple and pray for a pair of shoes. Now just look at the simplicity of this boy. Every day he stopped at the temple and pray for a pair of shoes. That what do you want? So I want a pair of shoes. Now you just look at the mindset and the praying things. That what are the essential things. Now compare your praying to this boy. Now what we pray and what this boy is praying. 30 years later, I visited his town and the temple. Okay. Now after 30 days, when the writer went to this town, Udupi, which was and the temple, which was now drowned in an air of desolation. Now you can see that place and that temple is empty, in a state of being empty. There is nothing was there. In the backyard where lived the new priest. In the backyard there was one new priest. There were red and white plastic chair. In his house there is red and white plastic chair. A young boy dressed in a gray uniform. उसका जो boy था that he wore a gray uniform, wearing socks and shoes, and arrived panting and threw his school bag on a folding bag, right? So now you look at the scenario where first he was talking about the priest to whom he met. So that time they don't have this type of facility, but right now the priest have all the facility. That the boy was dressed in uniform. It means he is going to school. He has a school bag, chairs, and folding bed bhi tha. Now arrived panting. Panting means taking short and quick breath, right? So school se jab aate, then you are very hurry from the school and you are very tired and you throw the bag. So this type of short and quick breathing was taking that boy. I remembered the prayer another boy had made to the goddess when he had finally got a pair of shoes, right? So I remembered that boy, that who wants the pair of shoes. So finally he got that pair. Let me never lose them. And another prayer was that, let me never lose them. I'll never lose that. Please grant this prayer that I will never lose their pair. The goddess had granted his prayer. As the goddess granted his prayer, young boys, like the son of the priest, now wore shoes. Now here you can see that right now the priest's boy wore the shoes, but many others. But that is the condition that I saw. There is a good condition right now. The priest's sons and the house is in a good condition. But writer is saying that, but many others, like the rag pickers in my neighborhood, remain shoeless. Though he got the shoes, but there are so many rag pickers in my neighborhood remain shoeless. Now here the writer is talking about whose rag picker is my neighborhood, that is the Sahibe Alam and his group, right? So the writer wants to say that the financial position of the priest at the temple had improved over the last 30 years. So there is an improvement in the financial state of the priest, but that they can afford the shoes. But what about the rag pickers who are living in my neighbor? So they remain shoeless, right? This shows us that underprivileged value anything that they get because they have been longing for it. Now you can see that now these small things are underprivileged, means जिसको privilege नहीं मिलती, they value each and every small things that they get because they have been longing for many times. बहुत सालों से they are craving for, they are desiring for that things. Now, I would like to tell you something on this note, right? We have to learn a lesson from this line that right now We are getting so many things which we don't want, and your parents give you, right? So the thing is that we value, does we value the things, does we value the things which we have? So the thing is that the writer was talking us, that telling us, please value the things which you have. Don't waste the things, because there are so many people all around the world. They are craving for, they are longing for, and they are not getting it. Okay, so value the things which you have. Okay, my acquaintance with the barefoot rag picker. Acquaintance का मतलब contact, right? My contact with the barefoot rag picker leads me to Simapuri, right? So now it is very touchy to the author that once their barefoot, this is the barefoot that without the chappal, they are not wearing, a place on a periphery. Periphery means outer area, okay? Periphery of Delhi, yet miles away from it. It is very important line. So metaphorically, okay. Here you can see that. So it leads me to go and meet these people at Simapuri. Now where is Simapuri situated? Simapuri is situated on the periphery of Delhi. Delhi की outer edge पे, border पे this place is situated. Now while reading the word Delhi, that you understand that how the city is. That we can say that this is the metro city, and even we cannot compare our state to Delhi, right? It is metro city, capital city, and there are so many opportunities and so fast city. Yet, though this Simapuri is situated near the Delhi, the metro city, which is full of opportunity, which is full of enjoyment and entertainment, was there, full of jobs and many things you find at Delhi, and many development you find there. But yet, miles away from it, but it is very far away. Metaphorically means symbolically, though it is very near, but it is far away symbolically. Those who live here, okay, those who live here are squatters who came from Bangladesh back in 1971, right? Squatters means what? A person who unlawfully occupies an uninhabited building on unused land, right? So this Simapuri is unused land which was occupied by the Bangladeshi in 1971 when they came here in India, and they illegally, right, without any law, they took this place and they are living here. Sahib's family is among them. Now Sahib's family is from among them. Simapuri was then a wilderness, right? So this is a wasteland. Wasteland means there is no any farm, nothing can be done on this land, right? So that is the wasteland for them. It still is, and still it is a wasteland, but it is no longer empty. But that time in 1971 it was empty, but right now it's not empty. Why? Its structures of mud with roofs of tin and tarpaulin, devoid of savage drainage or running water, leave 10,000 rag figures. Now it is not empty because heavy duty waterproof clothes, right? So heavy duty waterproof clothes का मतलब क्या है? This is one type of clothes कि अगर बारिश होती है, winter होती है या summer होता है, it will be not torn out, right? So that type of house roofs they have built, and though there is a savage drainage and running water. There is a drainage and running water was going around their group, and they lived there. They have lived here for more than 30 years. 30 years say without an identity, right? कोई identity नहीं है. They are living here without permits. Permits means कोई legal documents नहीं है उनके पास, फिर भी they are living here, but with ration card. Now, see, this is the humorous point of view that but with ration card. Now, who will get the ration card? If you reside in your country and you belong to your country, then you get the ration card. Here it is said that they are from Bangladesh, and then though they are getting the ration card and get their names on voter ID. Now we just look at the system of our India. Get their names on voter list and enable them to buy grain, right? So that is because of ration card, they can able to buy grain on the basis of ration card. Now you can see here that this is the thing that from people, that the politicians, for some politicians, they get the ration card and also get their names on voter list. Voter ID भी उनको मिल गया है, and they are able to buy grain and give the vote also. Food is more important for survival than an identity. For them, food is more important than an identity. If at the end of the day we can feed our families and go to bed without an aching stomach, we would rather live than in the fields that gave us no grain. So this is important for them to have a roti, kapda or makan, right? The food, clothes and home is more important than the land, right? In a fields that gave us no grain. So that is better to live here without to sleep without an aching stomach. When I asked them why they left their beautiful land of green fields and rivers, so what they give the answer: wherever they find food, they pitch their tents that become transit home. Transits means that is the transport, right? आपका जो transport home है, means जो यहाँ से उन्होंने बनाया है tarpaulin, that is tarpaulin ropes of tin and tarpaulin clothes. So that is the transit home, that they took it and place it at another place. So wherever they find a food and shelter, they went there and stay there. Children grow up in them and becoming partner in survival, okay? And they become partner in their survival. And survival in Simapuri means rag picker. Now, what is the business of survival? That is the rag picker. So you get that from your parents, that after when you become 8-9 years old, they start helping their parents in by doing rag picking. Through the years, it has acquired the proportion of a fine art. Garbage to them is gold, right? Now, if you are talking about the people of rag picker, so garbage is a gold for them. Now, literally gold is nice, but it is about valuable things. It is their daily bread and a roof over their heads. Even if it is a leaking roof, but for a child it is even more, right? So this is only things that they can, from that they can get bread and a roof, though it is leaking in the rainy season, right? Okay, they replied that they were able to satisfy the hunger. I told you that they are very happy to live in Dhaka, living Simapuri instead of Dhaka, right? Here he means of survival was only a rag picking. So what is their survival? Only the rag picking. So for the rag pickers, the garbage was For a rag pickers, the garbage was as precious as gold. I told you that. This family searched the garbage dump and got things which they sold to found their food. Now, how they work, now how they survive. So they search for food and then they sold to fund their food, right? They gathered torn or damaged sheets which were used to cover the roof of their home. This did not cover them well, but still provide them the some protections. Okay, so this is the only means of survival for them. Okay, going further. I sometimes find a rupee, even a 10 rupee note, Sahib says. Now, this is a very interesting that he was very happy when he found a rupee or 10 rupee. His eyes lighting up. So joy and happiness when you found a literal money in the garbage. When you can find a silver coin in a heap of garbage, you don't stop scrounging. Now, searching what this is the human nature, that when you find something that you stop, that you stop it, that I found one coin. But what is the mindset of rag picker? If they found any silver coins, they don't stop. They start scrounging and start searching more and more in a hope that they will find one another. Okay, scrounging, for there is a hope of finding more. It seems that for child, garbage has a meaning different from what it means to their parents. Now, there is a difference between the meaning of garbage in the eyes of children, and in the eyes of parents. For the children, it is wrapped in wonder, right? So this can be very important question can be asked in your exam. For the children, it is wrapped in wonder. Wonder means surprise. And for all old elder, it is means of survival, right? So this is the difference between the mindset of children and elders, the meaning of garbage, right? So for the children, the garbage was a means of fulfilling their dreams, although partially, while for the parents, it was a means of aiding survival by providing the basics, food, clothing, and shelter, roti, kapda, or mata. Okay. One winter morning, I see Sahib standing by the fence gate of the neighborhood club. Okay, so he was standing at a club fence, watching two young men dressed in white playing tennis. Right? We know how the tennis was played by the two young men. I like the game. He hums. Hums means धीरे से अगर आप बोलो मतलब मरमर करना. Content to watch it standing behind the fence. Now they are satisfied with the standing and watching behind the fence. Now look at one another message you got from here. The one sentence, the word satisfied, and the thing of the Sahib, that the what he said. That he said that I am satisfied to watch. He liked the game, but he was satisfied at least he can watch the game. They know that tennis is very costly game, and it is not possible for a rag picker to play. But he is satisfied by watching it. So one another thing is that the human nature that we have to learn that from this rag picker and mostly this Sahib, that we have to be satisfied with what you have. Okay, so happy and satisfied with what you have. Don't be greedy, right? So this is the human nature. We are very greedy. If we have this, we want another one. We want another one. So don't be greedy. Be happy with whatever you have. Okay. I go inside when no one is around. He admits. Even I also go inside and fulfill my dream that even I can go inside and see the ground. The gatekeeper let me use the swing, right? By using the swing, I get into the ground. Sahib too is wearing tennis shoes that looks strange over the discolored shirt and shorts, right? Now he was wearing one shirt and short, and he was also wearing one tennis shoes, which is not matched with his clothing. So what happened? That your eyes directly go to the shoes because it is not looking unused looking, and someone gave them to me. He says in the manner of an explanation, because we know that he is not old age because he's a rag picker and he is very poor. The fact that they are discarded shoes, discarded means thrown away, shoes of some rich boy, right? कोई rich boy होगा, उसने discard किया होगा, who perhaps refused to wear them because of a hole in one of them. Now only there is one hole, and that is, this is the, here you can find the behavior of a rich people, right? Rich boy, that they do not value anything. So here there is a contrast between the sahib and the rich boy, that he is satisfied with what you have, and the rich boy, that they have so many things but they don't value, even they don't value them, and they are not satisfied with what they have in them, does not bother him. So that doesn't matter to me. That it doesn't worry, that I don't worry about that whether it is there is a hole in the shoes, right? For one who has walked barefoot, even shoes with a hole is a dream come true. Now this is his dream that come true, to wear a tennis shoes, because hole doesn't matter. But the game he is watching so intently is out of his reach. Now you can see that he was very intently watching the game, but it is out of reach, because chalo shoes to mil jayega, but he is unable to play the game because it is out of his reach. It is not his cup of tea. Now what is the lesson did you get from this? So whatever you have, whatever the opportunity, whatever the things you get in your life, please value them and be satisfied with whatever the things was given by your parents. Don't expect more and more. Otherwise, you can see, remember this story and understand and value the things which you have, right? So here you can see that okay. He walked barefoot, and to wear a shoe, even with a hole, was like a dream for him. I told you, although due to the garbage dump, Sahib's dream was wearing the shoes had been partially fulfilled, but his desire to play tennis would never be fulfilled. This is the fact of his life, that his dream to play a tennis will not be fulfilled, but at least a dream of wearing the shoes was fulfilled. Okay. This morning, Sahib is on his way to the milk booth. In his hand is a steel container. उसके हाथ में steel container था, and I now work in a tea stall down the road. Now he was working at a tea stall. He says, pointing in a distance, मतलब distance से बताकर, that stall I am working. I am paid 800 rupees. 800 rupees मुझे मिलता है, and all my meals, 3 times meals I get. Does he like the job? I ask. Okay, again I ask the question. His face, I see, has lost the carefree look, right? So first when he asked that, what do you do here at the garbage, that time when the author saw his face was different. He is very free and content. Content means satisfied with what he has. But right now when she asked, he lost the carefree look. Now he is not looking happy, and he is not happy with his job. The steel container feels heavier than the plastic bag he would carry so lightly over the shoulder. Now here you can see that the steel container and the steel container The steel container and the plastic bag. There is a comparison between the steel container and plastic bag. So before, when he was a rag picker, he was picking the plastic bag on his shoulder, and right now on his shoulder there is a steel container. So steel container means milk ka chota sa container, right? That is not heavier in literally. If you are talking about the plastic bag of rag picker, that is heavier than the steel container of milk, right? But right now, symbolically and metaphorically, the writer says that the steel container seems heavier than the plastic bag. He would carry so lightly over this. That time, that though it is very heavier, he lifted it very lightly on his shoulder, the plastic bag. But right now, the steel container is very light, but it seems heavier to him. The bag was his, because that the answer is why this happened to him. Because that time, that plastic bag was belonged to the Sahib, and now this steel container belongs to the owner of the tea stall, right? The container below who owns the tea shop. Sahib is no longer his own master. Now Sahib पूरा master नहीं रहा है. Now you no longer own his master. जो मैंने समझाया वही है. Okay, I hope you understand it. Now, what are the thing that we understand from this story is, now child labor, right? The story is about a rag picker, or you can say that child labor also depended on a child labor. Forcing a child to work nowadays is a crime, and this is so in order to prevent exploitations of children and in India. And we have seen that many children are doing this labor. And why? Because they are not enjoying this childhood for the survival. They are doing this. But there are so many NGOs are coming forward for the proper education of these children, and we know that this destroys the life of children, this type of children, and their future also. And the only thing that the white parents are forcing them, because they want money and they want to survival in this life. And there is a strict law also available to check the child labor and enforce the law strictly. Okay, the government started working on this also. I hope you understand this. Please write down the question answer and related grammar portions in your notebook. After every chapter, it will be there. You have to write down the question answer and the grammar portions related to the chapter in your notebook. Again, I'll tell you that don't copy paste from the reference books, right? Try to read it, understand it, and try to write down in your own way, in your own writing. Don't copy paste. You are full of knowledge. You are such a dictionary that the mind is a good dictionary and a good knowledge that you have. So you can write your own answer, which will be different from reference book also, and which will be best, I think, if you use it properly. So write down question answer and grammar portions also. I hope you understand. Please don't ask me again and again, ma'am, what to do after that act. So I told you right now. Again, I'll repeat it. Write the question answers, short question, long question, vocabulary also, and grammar portions related to the text. Okay, long and short answer भी आपको करना है. Thank you so much. Take care. Have a nice